If you're enjoying this podcast, check out Tales of Wisdom is a heartwarming children's podcast, bringing meaningful stories to life through adventure, imagination, and gentle life lessons. Each episode helps young listeners explore kindness, responsibility, empathy, honesty, manners, patience, confidence, and understanding others. Perfect for families who want entertaining stories that inspire better choices and thoughtful conversations. Check out the books at Book Central and ebook it. Welcome back to the show where we believe the best lessons don't always arrive as lectures. Sometimes they sneak in through a funny mistake, a bold adventure, or a story that makes you laugh first and think later. That's exactly what today's episode is all about. Inspirational stories that leave you entertained, encouraged, and just a little wiser by the end. We all need reminders that life rarely goes perfectly. Plans change, people get nervous, and things often look messier than we expected. But that's also where the good stuff lives. In the middle of the chaos, we discover courage, kindness, creativity, and the surprising strength we didn't know we had. The stories in this episode celebrate those moments. They're warm, relatable, and full of the kind of adventure that makes everyday life feel a bit more magical. Our first story follows someone who sets out on a simple errand and ends up on an unexpected journey. What starts as a routine day quickly turns into a series of small mishaps, a wrong turn, a lost item, and one very awkward conversation with a stranger who seems far too cheerful for the situation. But as the story unfolds, we learn that detours are not always disasters. Sometimes getting lost is exactly what helps us find a better route, a new perspective, or even a new friend. It's a gentle reminder that not every surprise is a setback. The second story brings a little humor into the mix. It features a character who is determined to prove they can handle everything on their own, even when it is obvious to everyone else that they cannot. The result is a wonderfully human disaster involving mixed-up instructions, a stubborn attitude, and a moment of public embarrassment that somehow becomes the turning point. What makes this one memorable is how it shows the power of asking for help. Independence is admirable, but wisdom often begins when we admit we don't have to do everything alone. That lesson lands softly, wrapped in laughter and a bit of self-recognition. Next comes a more imaginative tale, one that takes a small everyday problem and stretches it into an epic adventure. A broken gadget, a forgotten promise, or a rainy afternoon becomes the spark for a fantastical mission filled with courage and creativity. The beauty of this story is that it reminds us how much possibility exists inside ordinary life. When we choose curiosity over frustration, we start to see challenges as invitations rather than obstacles. That shift in thinking can allow me to. Our final story is the most heartfelt of the bunch. It centers on a person who feels overlooked, underestimated, or simply tired of trying. But through one small act of persistence, they discover that progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Sometimes showing up again and again and again is the bravest thing we can do. This is one of those inspirational stories that stays with you because it feels so real. It reminds us that growth is often quiet and that resilience is built in the moments no one applauds. By the end of today's episode, the message is clear. Life will hand us confusion, comedy, and challenge in equal measure, but it will also hand us chances to grow. The best inspirational stories don't pretend everything is easy. They simply remind us that we are capable of more than we think, and that even the messiest day can contain a lesson worth keeping. Thanks for listening, and may your own story be filled with a little more courage, a little more laughter, and a lot more hope.